Hello, Blue Justin here. Still Justin, feeling a lot less blue than I have the last couple of weeks. Still suffering a bit, being exhausted after COVID, etc. But I was rather cheered up about the fact that my horse romped home at 50-1 yesterday. So that'll be waiting for suggestions for anybody for what new Blu-rays and 4Ks I should buy. Just put them in the comments. It's obviously time for the weekly haul. It's not particularly big. It's a little bit larger than the last couple of weeks though, and I've got some really standout titles, one of which I suspect you'll be guessing already, but let's see, shall we? Right, first up, and not the title of the week, but a different one to start with, and that is the Zavvi exclusive. Yes, this is Zavvi exclusive 4K of Jack Reacher. Now, I am well aware of the fact that Tom Cruise does not fit the physical profile that matches the books, and a lot of the fans of the books were not pleased about his casting. However, I have watched this film previously on Blu-ray. This is an upgrade for me, and though he doesn't have that 6 foot something or other full of muscles physical presence, his attitude to me more than makes up for it, and somebody with that huge physical presence who wasn't as good an actor would probably have got put across the role less well, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to rewatching this on 4K, and I do like Tom, to be honest. So I just decided I was going to say that this one actually turned up from was it? I don't think it was actually. I'm thinking about it. Maybe it wasn't a Zavvi 4K. It was a Zavvi exclusive. I think this one turned up, or if it wasn't this one, it was certainly another one that turned up in a box with, I accept, another disc from, I think it was from Amazon, in this box here, with lots and lots of padding and everything. So, you think to yourself, well, maybe, just maybe, they're starting to realise that they should be a little bit more protected. Put them in a bigger box and put a little bit of brown paper in there to help protect them against knocks. Not that sounded like it did a particularly good job. But then the next thing you get is the title of, obviously, the week, in fact, possibly the month, possibly the year in popularity that has been released, and that is Spider-Man No Way Home. This is the Amazon exclusive steelbook for the UK. I did actually want to get this, not only this one, but I wanted the Zavvi exclusive steelbook as well, and then to decide between them later. But or just keep them both if I'm feeling greedy, because I like the different artworks. I think the artwork on both of these is stunning. But the Zavvi one I managed to miss, so it's sold out. So enough of my problems. Yes, this one turned up in one of Amazon's standard thin, stupid envelopes. So, they're not learning at all. They're just randomly putting stuff in anything that comes to hand. It just happened to be, I was lucky with that, with the other steel book, because they put it in the same packaging as a disconnected Blu-ray, which you'll see later in my haul, and because that wouldn't fit in their normal packaging, instead of actually using side-by-side slim stuff, which also doesn't protect very well. They happen to put it in a box. It just seems totally random. Why? Anyway, yeah, obviously Spider-Man No Way Home, really looking forward to this. Amazingly enough, or not amazingly in that way, but shockingly enough, I actually haven't seen it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. I did have to, as you can see from this, I did have to open it up because just like the Jack Reacher, actually, it did have a loose disc inside. The front on this one isn't a gloss. It isn't metal. It's sort of like a satiny type finish with sort of like nice little metallic-y elements. It's very nice indeed. And since I actually have taken off the shrink wrap already, let's open it up and see what's inside, as a very famous YouTuber says. And that's what we have. We have a nice interior artwork and different art on that's the 4K. And that's the Blu-ray, which does, if you might notice, say on it that it is all region. So if you do happen to be, and by the way, that's the back without the card over the top, or the piece of paper, more to the point. So yes, if you do want to play the Blu-ray on a player that isn't from the UK, you will be okay. So it depends what specific steelbooks, if any, that your country has, if you want to import it and you don't have 4K yet, but you just still did want the steel, then you're okay. And that is indeed today's this week's super release, and I really cannot wait to watch it properly. Watch it at all. I can't believe I haven't. Yes, you're right. Everybody tells me I'm in for a treat, and hopefully I am. Next one up, we have the new 4K. This is, I think, the Xavier exclusive for Death on the Nile. This is the Kenneth Branagh new one, following up from his Murder on the Orient Express in the same role as Poirot from a little while ago. I enjoyed that. I know that a lot of people are saying this doesn't live up to some of the Ustinov or even the from the TV versions. I'll probably put that up there when I get my brain in gear. But I also hear that it is a reasonably good adaptation with a couple of interesting turns in it, just to make sure you don't know the whole plot before you even start. And I'm again looking forward to seeing it and finding out the backstory behind his moustache. Oh, David Suchet, wasn't it? Sorry. Yeah, I won't have to put it up there. Next up, we have one that follows on from, I think actually it's a prequel, but it follows on from an unboxing sequence that I've never actually quite got around to completing yet, but is quite famous. And that is the new Xavier exclusive 4K of steelbook of the Scorpion King. Yes, I'm pretty sure that the jackal headed beasts are actually in one of the Mummy films, but the t-shirt this good, I couldn't resist. Yeah, I was just rereading my review on last time I watched this. and basically there is hardly anything new that in this film that has not been seen or taken from other films before, but it appears to borrow from some of the best. Indiana Jones, even some references back to Solitaire and James Bond, if I recall correctly. No, not by far from the greatest mummy-related film that I have, but considering that I have that absolutely fantastic Mummy Day of the Book of the Living set from Everything Blue, which I will complete the unboxing of one day, honestly. I'm doing my part 2 after the disaster of part 1. I had to make sure that I had everything that was involved, and that is a really nice, to me, that's a very nice looking steelbook with the rock there, and yeah, so nice looking 20th anniversary limited edition. Very happy to have that one, and it's not too expensive. It has 4K, and because the 4K has been out before in quite some time, this one's your lower end of your normal 4K prices, but still not cheap, but not too bad. Next up we have 6 Days. Now the title refers to the length of time that this event took place over, and it is a retelling of the Iranian embassy siege, and I haven't seen this one before or knew about it until relatively recently, though it's nice. It stars Jamie Bell. I have enjoyed some of his stuff before. It sounds like it's going to be quite obviously action-packed, and it says that it is relatively authentic. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the finale looks like when the SAS famously storm the embassy. So I'll be interested to see what they think went on behind the scenes and what actually they thought happened when they went in, and whether or not they're going to gloss over how many hostages were potentially lost. I know it wasn't many. I think there were some casualties. So yeah, this is, as you can see, an Australian release. I'm sure there was a reason. Yeah. I think well, the only other options are Canadian and Spanish, and I decided to go down this route. And what surprised me is that even though there's a Canadian release, there doesn't appear to be a US release, which there usually is, even if it's a similar cover, etc. But no, this one I could get hold of relatively easily, so I did. I have no idea whether or not it's a reversible cover, so I might be stuck with the unfortunate nasty big label, but it isn't as big as I have seen them in the past, so I shall live, and hopefully I shall enjoy the movie itself, which is doesn't look like it'll outstay its welcome at 1 hour 35. Next up, we have one that I saw advertised at the beginning of the trailer clips at the beginning of another movie I'd watched recently, and it sounded quite good, so I had a little look to see whether I could get hold of it, and that is called Security. This, as you might be able to tell, is the Canadian release because it's got the main title. It's also got Haute Sécurité because of the Canadian insistence on dual language. It's also got DVD in it as well, but this is the one that I could find most available. I'm not particularly looking, obviously, interested in the DVD. I just wanted the Blu-ray of it. Um, I just like the look of it. It sounds to me that Antonio Banderas stars as a security guard who happens to be handily ex-special forces, and they hired the right man to be in the right place at the right time when he ends up protecting a girl who's going to be a witness on the stand against Ben Kingsley's character, who plays the bad guy. Um, Presumably, Ben sends off various people to get rid of, kill, capture, whatever, the girl before she testifies, and they go up against Banderas' character. And as they find out, it's going to be a long night. I dare say there's lots and lots of violence and kicking ass, so that's going to be fun. And again, another one that won't outstay its welcome at just over 1.5 hours by the minute or so. So yes, Security, from the producer of London Has Fallen, if that is your choice one way or the other. This next one is a little bit unusual. I just came across it and thought, that sounds quite interesting, so I picked it up. And that is a series called Tehran. This is season 1. I believe that it's either been greenlit or it's actually being shown or has been shown already. Season 2, so obviously this met with reasonable success on release. It tells of a Mossad agent, the Israeli Secret Service, who goes undercover in Iran, which happens to be where she's born. Not that apparently, if you check if you're an expert in the correct accents for Persian, then you'll be able to say, actually, her accent's all wrong, and actually quite a lot of the accents are all wrong. But that's hardly going to be the be-all and end-all of an exciting TV thriller. And her mission has implications for not just the Middle East, but for the rest of the world. It has been referred to in reviews as a sort of female Jason Bourne type character in the action. I do know, though, she gets caught up in a love story with when she tries to go undercover, trying to escape when her mission is blown. And unlike some were expecting, it is not 100% pro-US, pro-Israel, though obviously it's probably going to lean that way given the lead character. Some of the people who play parts in it are from the opposing side, though, and do get some sympathetic roles. It's another one put out by Dazzler Media, so there aren't going to be a heck of a lot of extras, if any. I don't think there are. It's the usual situation of being rated 15, strong sex violence, drug misuse, and bloody images. I believe it's going to be very exciting. But if you're thinking that sounds like something you're interested in, be aware that, despite the fact it comes under a lot of production is provided by the UK and US, it is shot, I believe, a lot on location in Israel, and also I think they use some Greek locations as well because the terrain looks right. However, what really was the point I was getting towards, finally there, is the fact that the language is essentially a mixture of Persian, Hebrew and English, and it's got English subtitles. So though there'll be, the English people in it might speak English to each other, but most of the time I believe the spoken language from the soundtrack will be Persian. So if you're not a big fan of subtitles or have difficulty with them, then maybe not for you, because there is not a pure English dub track. So anyway, I find the sound of it very, very interesting, and probably from an area that not a lot of TV series go into, so really looking forward to seeing that. Next up, we have one that I went looking for and ended up with a copy from Spain. This is The Duelists, and it's I thought this was the only one, but that was, I think, because I misspelled duelists in my search criteria. So this one happened to come up because there's only one L in like duelistas, but there are two in duelists, I believe. So you can get it in addition to the Spanish one from the USA or Australia. So yep, that's another alternative. So yeah, this is the story of two people in Napoleon's army who have a number of duels. From what I've read or seen on YouTube actually about the dueling here, it is physically quite accurate as to how a sword fighting duel would or could have taken place, and the swordsmanship is quite good to watch. So that's always a good start. But also it stars Keith Carradine and Harvey Keitel, Edward Fox, Albert Finney. There's Tom Conti's in there as well, and the director is Ridley Scott. So I mean, to me, I don't know why this isn't more widely available on Blu-ray, but I'm glad that I've picked up a copy. So yes, we go. And finally, yeah, Omar's coming, and he's in The Wire, the whole thing on Blu-ray. Now, I was a little bit concerned about this one because so many seasons or series that were made in 1.33 to 1, like 4:3, the old standard aspect ratio for televisions, when they got moved to Blu-ray and they tried to update them to widescreen 1.78, they messed up the whole thing. They showed things that were supposed to be hidden out of shot, like microphone booms, all sorts of things, and also messed up the intention of the original filmmakers. Now, I did obviously go and investigate this because this was originally shown in 1.33 to 1, and this is in 1.78 to 1, normal TV widescreen now. But my investigations revealed that in actual fact the first two, maybe three, can't remember, seasons were actually shot expecting TVs to go that way. So they were shot 1.78 to 1 safe, even though they weren't intended to be shown that way particularly. So there's nothing actually going to go wrong there. At that point, there was a decision made to keep it at the old-fashioned aspect ratio, 1.33 to 1. But even though they made that decision deliberately and almost kept the graininess of that fitted the whole drug scene in Baltimore, which is where it is set. The filmmakers have actually revisited these Blu-rays and have said, apart from a few scenes which they think the increase in detail has actually made the spirit of it, or the style of it, coming across a little bit too clean for what they wanted, most of it has actually been improved by the increase in detail of Blu-ray over DVD, as you'd expect. So the ratio change doesn't actually especially mess up any major scenes in any particular way. So this a fantastic series, making I think this is one of the big ones that made Idris Elba. This is probably maybe the first time I saw him. Maybe he was around a lot before then and I just didn't know. But absolutely fantastic undercover operations, and like I said, in the drug drug-filled areas of Baltimore, and the I can't remember what the name of the area is. Oh, so annoying. Not precincts. If I remember, or if I can find out, I'll pop it up there. I'm sure everybody will screaming at their YouTube videos going, why can't you remember? Why didn't you check it out beforehand? Well, I didn't, sorry. But no, it's got it's nice little bonuses of 4 behind-the-scenes documentaries, 22 audio commentaries, 3 prequels of Life Before the Wire. Now, I don't know whether those are the ones they called The Corner. I don't know whether those are the same things or whether they're separate things that are new on this. And an all-new Wire reunion. Coughing fit. Still not totally over this. Like I said, Wire reunion. The audio is in DTS HD Master Audio 5.1 for quite a few languages, like English, obviously, French, Latin, Spanish, German. No, actually, the lie. It's only in 5.1 for the English. The rest are in just in 2.0. But, yeah. However, one of the best series, nitty-gritty series of all time for undercover work, and really looking forward to it. I'll probably have to get into trying to get through understanding the rather thick accents again, which I know I did the first time that I started watching on DVD. But anyway, yes, I think that's a fantastic set of pickups this week. One thing I was going to add, I forgot to say the first time, was I think it's security. Now, the UK doesn't have a Blu-ray, which is why I picked up one from abroad. The easiest one to get, and the one with the most extras for the UK, would be the German one, but as a warning, they have messed up the frame rate, so it plays at 25 frames per second instead of the correct 24 frames per second. So the one thing you think will always be fixed by putting it on Blu-ray, which is PAL speed up, which happened on DVD and VHS, they've actually managed to reintroduce onto that particular German Blu-ray. So just a warning. So anyway, right, that's my haul for this week. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the like button. It helps the channel. And in the meantime, before I come back with my next video, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell for finding out when it is, because as I've been mentioning the last few weeks, it has been my wife's birthday recently, and after both of us suffering from COVID, and being finally allowed out again and meeting up with everybody, all her physical media presents are now in her possession. So I will be doing a special my wife's birthday physical media haul video in the near future. So that I hope you will find interesting, because obviously what she asks for and wants to watch might not necessarily be the same thing as I pick up much more from week to week. She's not wouldn't be sort of like into the superheroes. She wouldn't necessarily be into the anime. She probably wouldn't be into. She does like some of the action films, but not necessarily the ones that I would pick that she hadn't heard of before. So I recommend that you watch that one to see what my wife got. And in the meantime, please do keep on enjoying all the movies that you're watching, the TV you're watching, everybody else's YouTube channels that you're watching, and see if you can get to the cinema. I might see you there soon. Cheers.